I got all the things done I really need to for today. So trying to figure out what to do with myself the rest of the day. And there was an Air and Space Museum, or there is an Air and Space Museum down the road, but it's not open. It's not open till Wednesday, so can't go to that. There is a car museum not too far from here. I thought, oh, well, that might be interesting, but I don't know. I'm not really super thrilled about it. So I think that what I'm going to do, at least for right now, is I'm just going to go out for a little walk here. There's a mall area over here, so I'll go walk around it and just kind of check things out, just to do something, move my body a little bit other than just sit on that bike. Because that's really what I want to do, is stay away from the bike for a day, because, again, I got another week of riding after I leave here. So as I'm walking here, I see there's a Mountain Rushmore Motorsports, so since we're here, let's go in and check them out. So last time I was here, there was a pretty good barbecue place back there, but it's gone already. Looks like they're bringing an Uncle Louie's in its place. That's a diner that's in Sturgis that I know of. Well, that was exciting. Pretty much a normal mall fare. Did get a nice coffee. So I figured out what I'm going to do for at least a little while today. I kind of fell behind on my reading of my meditations from Marcus Aurelius, so we're see if we can catch up on those and just relax. There's a nice little spot under a tree here. Some cows out in the distance, so just gonna have a nice day. Time to get out, have a little dinner. I'm headed over to this Mexican restaurant here. All right, guys, so it is now, what, I think this is day 44, I don't know, 43 or 44, I can't even remember anymore. And I'm getting to the point where I just want to be home. So, really, I'm tired of packing and shit. Just, it's the way it is, you know. Today is one of them mornings where I just don't want to do this anymore. But I've got to get on the road. So I've got something planned, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes when I get there. I just, at this point, I don't care. It's just one of those things. I'm feeling fine, you know, as far as my body and so forth goes, but I'm getting mentally wiped from all of this. You know, once I get rolling, I'm usually fine, but the process is getting to beat on me a little bit, so. Anyway, you don't need to hear this shit, so, all right. Yes, it was true. I was letting the packing get to me. But as I said, I've been on the road now for 44 days. And, you know, that's bound to happen once or twice. You kind of hit the wall, just like if you were running a marathon. But even though the packing was getting to me, I did have a couple of fun things planned for this day. The first being a stop at the world's biggest tourist trap, the place where you can buy anything and everything that you don't need, Wall Drug. So no trip to South Dakota would be complete without at least making a short stop at Wall Drug. And I know a lot of people don't like it, but I don't know. To me, it's a lot of fun. It's just what it is, right? It's a big tourist trap. Good. Look like you made a friend there.
Yeah.
Howdy. All right, I think that's enough of Wall. Let's head on. A few miles down the road from Wall, I would make my second stop. I would get off the road, have a short dirt ride, and visit a relic from the past. I was of the generation that grew up under the threat of nuclear annihilation. And while to some extent that still exists, we no longer have our children hide underneath their wooden school desks, pretending that somehow it would make a difference during a nuclear strike. So for me, visiting the Delta IX Minuteman missile silo was an eerie kind of experience, bringing back some of those memories. Going online in 1959, the year that I was born, the South Dakota missile field at one time held up to 1,000 ICBM missiles. And today we still have more than 400 land-based missiles scattered across 5 states. So it is kind of weird being here, because as I said, those of my generation grew up with this threat of nuclear war. I mean, we did the, cover underneath your desk drills, as if that would have done anything. And we were constantly, bombarded with this idea that Russia could attack us at any time. It's kind of weird, though, that even now, right, they don't make it very easy to see in that silo. Yeah, I mean, you can kind of peer down, but getting a picture or something through that glass, it's kind of difficult. So really a little bit weird that we continue to kind of keep this stuff a little bit of a secret. After leaving the Delta IX site, I stopped in at the Minuteman Missile National Historic Site. Here they have a little museum that talks all about the Cold War and about the ICBM fields that we once maintained. So along with that missile silo back there, there's also the National Historic Site Visitor Center. So that's where we are right now. So while I'm here, we're going to go in and take a look at it. As with the Delta IX missile silo, the historic site is an eerie monument to mutually assured destruction. And the Peacekeeper vehicle parked outside the historic site shows just how seriously we took this threat. And we still do. If you want, you can get a guided tour through the Delta I launch control facility, but you need to do that well in advance, so I wasn't able to take the tour on this trip. Well, that was very interesting, kind of sad as well, thinking about why we have to have all of those things. Now, of course, I understand why we have to have these weapons. I understand the concept of mutually assured destruction. However, it still makes me sad that we have not found a way to live together and work together to make this world a better place. I mean, look at our own country. Right now, we see the other side, the reds or the blues, not as Americans, but as enemies. Not too far up the road, it was time for lunch, and I don't know, I seem to be on a patty melt kick for this trip. After lunch, well, it was a few more miles, a few more trucks, and some more bugs. It's about 3 o'clock now. I lost an hour today as I'm moving back east. So I've got about an hour and a half to go, about 100 miles left to go on the day. So I just decided I'd pull over here at this rest area and take a little bit of a break. Yeah, day's going well. I'm doing better than I was this morning. You know, I said once I got back on the road, I'll be okay. It's just that that packing every morning is getting to me. So again, doing okay, and said 100 miles left. So I think it's day 45 today. I'm starting to get a little bit off in my count. So it's a little crowded down there in the breakfast area, so I snuck up here to the mezzanine for a little peace and quiet. So far, nobody else has figured it out. So we'll head over, get some gas now, and then hit the road. I may run into a little rain later on today. It's overcast right now, and looks like Davenport may have some rain, so we'll see. Vince are all buttoned up this morning. Again, we'll see how it goes. Day 45 was pretty much a travel day, just getting one place to the next. 100 plus miles down, just stopped for a little break and a coffee. So time to get back on the road. Another 100 plus miles. All right, 200 plus down, another 200 or so to go. So I'm about halfway there right now. Filled up with gas, so it'll be good for the rest of the day. And also filled up the Gatorade. It's starting to get a little warm out. Wow. Listen to that noise coming from that interstate. We're on about 50 miles down, another just under 100 or so to go. So, long day today. I'm pushing it pretty good. Trying to stay away from all them big things. One fun thing I did on this long travel day was to stop at the world's largest truck stop, Iowa 80. Like Wall Drug, this is a place where you can get just about anything that you can imagine, from food, clothing, records, and even chiropractic care, or you can even have a tooth pulled. I made it here to Iowa 80, the world's largest truck stop, and I walked around a little bit and went in and used the bathroom. So I think that's about enough. Have a few more miles left to go to the hotel, so let's get this done. Well, I did get her done, and when I got to the hotel, they had a restaurant right there that had a fried chicken special for just $12.99, and it was pretty darn good. So good morning. It is now day 46. Going to be headed to Indianapolis today, but I'm going to make one stop before I leave Davenport. So as you know, most of you anyway who watch this channel, my wife and I are both chiropractors. So I came here to the Palmer College of Chiropractic, the quote fountainhead of chiropractic, and I'm gonna get Kathy a t-shirt because she wants one. Kathy and I both graduated from Los Angeles College of Chiropractic, but still this is where chiropractic was founded, so it was really cool to be able to visit here. It also brought up some feelings about what could have been. See, I practiced for about 8 years with Kathy in our own practice in Walpole, Massachusetts, but eventually left the profession to pursue computer sciences. And I did so, well, primarily for financial reasons. Now, that decision turned out to be a good one, but I often wonder what would have happened if I would have stayed in the practice with my wife. All right, well, that was pretty cool for me and for Kathy. I got to send her a few pictures because, again, this is kind of the birthplace, or it is the birthplace of chiropractic, a profession that she practiced for, well, 27 years. I practiced for about 8 years, and then I switched over into computer programming. But still, chiropractic is, of course, a big part of my life. I have no idea where I am right now, but I'm somewhere a little less than 100 miles away from the hotel in Indianapolis. And I had about 80 miles left on my tank, but I went ahead and filled up anyway, so now I'm set for the day. And we'll get in there and again get showered, cleaned up. So, what? It's a Triumph Tiger. Yeah, 1200. Somebody was yelling at me about what bike I had. At this point, I actually turned my cameras off for the ride into Indianapolis because I figured, who wants to see the traffic going through the city? Well, it's probably a good thing I did because it was a pretty rough ride. So I made it here to Indianapolis, and let me tell you, every time I come to Indiana, traffic and the roads are just screwed up. I mean, every time, right? So they got the freeway shut down, so then you got to get on surface streets to get to the hotel, and then the surface streets are all screwed up. It took me an hour to go 5 miles to get to the hotel. So, and then when I get here, I'm sharing the hotel with the Munster Little League team. So good morning again. It's day 48 today, and headed to Athens, Ohio today. Kind of a short day, under 300 miles, about 260, 270, something like that. I am going to go south here on this freeway, which is the 65, and I'm going to head down, and then I'll take another road that cuts over to 74, and that'll take me into Cincinnati. I'm going to go around Cincinnati on 275, so I'll go north of the city. And then I'll pick up 50, and I'll take 50 into Athens, Ohio. Now, I know about the Winding Nine. If you've watched my videos, you know I've been there before, and I would love to go back and do some more of that. It's this great riding there. But today, I'm just getting into Athens because from Athens, I have a couple of great routes that get me back home around the big East Coast cities on back roads. And I want to make sure that this time on this trip, that's what I'm doing. So many times I've gone out on these trips and then I come home and I end up on a 90 and 495 heading back to where I live, and it ends up just being a horrible mess, and sometimes I run into really bad traffic, and that's the last thing you remember about the trip. Right? So I don't want to do that. This time I am going to take my time. So we're going to go to Athens and then take those back roads up through the East Coast and into Massachusetts again. So at least that's the plan. We'll see how it all works out.
Well, the day turned out to be a nice one. It was actually a mix of back roads that ran through farm country, a few secondary roads, and a couple of highways just to get around the cities. And of course, there was the 157th Dollar General that I passed. Now, of course, I really don't know how many Dollar Generals I actually passed, but it was a lot of them. It seems like every small town now has a Dollar General, which is good. I guess it provides employment and goods for the community, but it also seems that the old mom and pop stores are going by the wayside.
Stopped at a rest area here on the way to Athens. I don't know, I got about an hour or so to go, maybe a little less. So been a nice day so far, going through all these little towns on 50. So I'm on 35 right now. It's a little bit higher speed. So we'll be there in a little bit, and then we'll grab something to eat because I've had nothing except a bagel this morning.
Yep, I was a bit hungry, so the first thing I did after getting settled was go grab myself some grub.
As it seems to happen every year, I am out traveling again on Kathy and my anniversary. So we've now been married as of today 33 years. Kathy, I still love you. You're still amazing. Happy anniversary.
And I celebrated our anniversary with a fine cigar.
Right, and we're going to be on back roads today, heading to Du Bois, Pennsylvania. From here, 260 miles or so, something like that. So not a bad day. Again, we're just going to take our time. We've got all day to do it. This is going to be about celebrating this trip and enjoying the last few days.
Looking back, this day of riding from Athens to Du Bois, Pennsylvania was really a great day. I got on some beautiful roads. Right? I saw some great scenery, especially riding along the Ohio River, as you'll see here in a few minutes. But also what you'll see at the end of this day is I found a couple of things to bitch about. At the time, I was kind of laughing at them, and I surely laugh about them now. But I was just in that frame of mind where I was headed for the barn, and I just wanted to get home. As I mentioned earlier, the roads in the southeastern portion of Ohio are just fabulous. The winding nine and everything around the Athens area. I really have to make a point to get back there and do some riding in the near future. On this day, I also got to ride through some beautiful little towns, and I got to see this elderly couple out enjoying their motorcycles. Now, the truth is, they probably weren't that much older than me. The ride along the banks of the Ohio River was beautiful and relaxing, and I got to ride past 2 nuclear power plants. One looked like it was no longer in operation, but the last one, well, it was definitely going. And so far, well, my skin hasn't turned green. And after a while, well, it was time for one of those infamous late breakfasts.
So getting off of the highway and getting onto the back roads was the best decision I could make for these last few days of this trip. It just changes the perspective on everything, right? You just relax, it's enjoyable. So right now I've stopped in this little town, I think it's called Friendly. It's right along Route 7, Ohio 7, that runs along the Ohio River. And I'm at the New Frontier restaurant having some breakfast. So perfect place to stop.
Not too far after breakfast, well, I crossed the Ohio, headed into West Virginia, and then on to Pennsylvania. The final few miles heading into Du Bois, Pennsylvania were really nice. Although, as I said before, at the end of the day, I still found something to bitch about.
Well, here I am. I made it to Du Bois, Pennsylvania. First half of the day was awesome. The last half got a little tedious, I have to say. Had to get on a couple of secondary roads, then led into Punxsutawney and then here. And while the road is great coming from Punxsutawney up to Du Bois, I got behind some slowpokes. This time it was a guy on a trike, so it was a little rough. So, you know, you just try to, like, not care, but it's tough. So, anyway, I got cleaned up. And another complaint that I have, I'm getting near the end of the trip, so I'm starting to have my old man bitches coming up now. So, basically, I walk into this hotel, and I vaguely remember that it was there last time I was here. I don't think I used it then, but I walk into the hotel, and there's this kiosk thing there, and there's a guy in front of me sitting there talking to this woman who I don't know where she was in the world, but she didn't seem like she was in the United States. But he's checking in through this kiosk thing. And so I get up there and go like, is there anybody here who can help me? I'm not talking to you. So I didn't say it like that, but I just, look, I'm not using this thing. I said, if I have to use these kiosks, I'm not coming to Best Westerns anymore. So she got me somebody. They came up and checked me in and everything, but like I said, I just, hot day, haven't had anything to eat, and it's a little grumpy. So we're gonna walk down here and see if we can grab some food and get ungrumpy.
Last time I was in Du Bois, I tried this little pub that's next to the hotel called the Hitching Post. But this time I thought I'd go for some steak and seafood.
So my review of Haas's Steak and Sea, yeah, skip it. I mean, I ate it all. It hit the spot. I was really hungry. But the steak tips were underwhelming. They were just kind of plain. They weren't marinated in anything. And they were a little overcooked. I asked for medium, and they were really medium well. So, if you're going to come somewhere here, between the two places I've been, there's the hitching post down there last year, or Haas's here, go to the hitching post. They don't have steaks and things, but they got a pub menu down there, and the wings were really good last year when I came. So definitely check them out.
I decided to drown my steak tip sorrows in a little frozen custard.
Somebody on one of my Facebook posts said, it looks like I'm getting a little case of get me home-itis, and I think that's probably true. In fact, I know it's true. All right, there's a point when you start turning the corner and heading back to the barn, right? And I'm definitely at that point. So today, it's going to be a little longer day, 360 miles, something like that. And I decided to push it a little bit farther than normal because I want to get closer to home for tomorrow. So tomorrow I'll be home nice and early. Today I'm going through the Catskills, and again I'm doing mostly back roads here to get there, so it should be a nice day. I'm going to try to stay relaxed, but as I've mentioned, it gets kind of tough when you just want to get back home. So again, that's the goal for today. We'll see how it works out. Right now we'll get this bike uncovered and start packing her up.
As I left the hotel, I was a little surprised when my GPS wanted me to get up on the interstate. And then I remembered, oh boy, I was using the routes that I had used when I took my Ohio trip a year or so ago, and I decided to cut some miles off by doing a few interstate miles. So that's what I did here as well. I jumped on for about 70 miles on the interstate, but it turned out to be a really nice ride.
So ended up jumping on the highway there. I forget what these routes are. I made them for last year, and honestly I forget. But getting on the interstate there for about 70 miles or so, it was actually nice. Not much traffic, nice relaxed ride getting here. So now I'm gonna get off and get on the back roads. And of course, things get more congested here at these little stops.
Well, I did make it onto the back roads, and at this point, I guess I have to introduce you to my nemesis for the day. Yep, that guy in the silver Toyota, he was from New York, and he loved to hug the speed limit. He also seemed to be on the exact same route that I was taking. I guess he used Rever and Butler maps just like I did. At one point I did get around him and I was having a great ride, but then I got off on this little gravel section and the GPS said that this was the fastest way. But no sooner did I come out, there he was again. Yep, there he is again. I just could not believe he got back in front of me.
All right, so it's 11:30 right now, and I don't know how far I've gone, 150 miles or something like that. And so when you watch these videos back, you notice I have a nemesis for the day, right? That guy from New York in that, I think it's a Toyota, the silver Toyota, right? So, I mean, he just wants to hug the speed limit, which is, you know, it's fine, but I don't want to be behind him, right? I want to enjoy the scenery, not have to pay attention to him, right? Because that's the biggest thing when you got somebody like that, you're trying to follow them. It's not the speed so much, it's that now you got to pay attention to them all of the time, right? You can't enjoy the road and the scenery and so forth. At least for me, that's what it is. But I got behind him for a while, and then I got around him, and I got off into some of those beautiful back roads, and I took that little off-road section there, and then I come out, and here he is again. Like, what the hell? So I'm going to stop here and take a break. Hopefully he gets far enough up the road in front of me I don't run into him again. But I wouldn't be surprised. So I'm over there having a snack, and I look over here and I see all of this. No, it's not the motorcycle. It's my Gatorade leaking out of my hydration pack. I don't know. I've had a few issues with the hydration pack leaking every now and then. If I don't get the lid on just exactly right, then it does this stuff. I'm never going to get away from this stop. Right, now the jacket is all soaked, at least the collar of my jacket's soaked in Gatorade, so I had to get a towel out and clean that off. And of course get my camera out to tell you about it. So, hopefully that's the end of it and I can get back on the road now.
After I finally got my Gatorade disaster cleaned up, I got some gas and then I got back on the road, making my way through Pennsylvania and heading to New York. And reaching New York, I jumped on Highway 30 that took me through the Catskills.
So it's 1:46 now, and I'm stopped again for a little break. About 2 hours left to go. I am on Route 30 now, and so I'm going to take 30 to whatever it is, 23A or whatever it is over there, and I'll take that into Kingston or in that area. I'm actually just following the GPS wherever it tells me to go, but that's the rough ride. So again, so we'll just have a little break and then get back on the road.
All in all, it was a great day of riding, but I was a bit tired, so I decided to take a nap in all of my gear. I'm all cleaned up. I'm going to walk up here and see if I can find the restaurant, and I guess here it is. And grab myself something to eat and relax for my last night on the road. Well, so far I have this place to myself, so I can make some videos without making a fool of myself. So I'm going to celebrate this last day on the road with, I guess, a new non-alcoholic beer. This is a Beck's. I haven't had it before, so we'll give it a try. So as my wife says,
I have one more sleep before heading home. So I've only got about 3 hours to get home tomorrow. So it's going to be a nice, easy day. Today was a great day of riding. So again, looking forward to being home. Here we go. Last few hours of this ride. It's already starting to rain a little bit. So I think it's going to be a wet one. I might have been looking for a nice easy day, but Mother Nature had other plans. So I just bundled up, headed across the Rip Van Winkle Bridge into Connecticut and towards home in Massachusetts. Along the way, I thought about just how amazing this trip had been. I had no problems. I saw all kinds of beautiful places. I met great people. And now I was returning home to my wonderful wife, Kathy. Everything was good. Before the last push for home, I would stop in Enfield, Connecticut and have my last coffee on the road. Kathy always does something special to celebrate my return. So every time I go away, my wonderful wife does something special for me on returning. And look at this, she got me a nice Alaska flag and a American flag. We haven't had one for a while. It got kind of ruined outside.
But the best part is me.
Yes, we're together.
Welcome
again.
home.
So now that I'm home, I have to do my ritual that my wife says I have to do. And that is, let me show you. We have this bench out in our garden here. And on it, when I leave, I place a single stone to show that I am missing from the household. So when I get home, I have to pick it up and go put it back where it belongs in the basket with her stone. And here is the basket in the crotch of our beautiful Japanese maple. So there it goes, back together. So that's it. Our stones are back together again. Now I just have to push the bike in the garage and unpack it. And then we'll look into cleaning it up and all of that kind of stuff this week, depending upon the weather. So that's it, guys. 51 days, I don't know, I'll figure out the mileage. It's something over 12,000 miles that I've gone on this trip. It's been a good trip, so good to be home.